Okay, so the last video I want to talk about today is about when you go drinking, the three things that you need to make sure you confirm and you check with the people who are giving an offer, like the waiter or waitress, which is outside the place, before you go inside. So basically, I live in Kansai, so if you go to Minami, Namba, or Shinsaibashi, or if you're in Kobe, if you go to Sannomiya, there will be what is called kyachiman. So they're the people who stand outside and they hold something like this. They hold a little menu and they're like, "Oni-san, do desu ka?" Which is like, hey mister, how's this place? Do you want to come inside and look? And usually, the easiest way to go out and get some, unless you know a place already, is to go to these people, or they will come to you. They don't usually talk to you if you are if you don't look Asian. If you're Asian, they might just assume you're Japanese. But if you are not Asian, they will usually ignore you. Or try and speak to you in really not understandable English. But basically, when you talk to them, there's three things you need to check about what they're offering you before you go inside. Otherwise, you could get screwed over. And there's been times where I've been with friends. I've been even with Japanese friends as well. And it's been like maybe 5 foreigners and like 5 of my Japanese friends. And even though my Japanese friends do all the discussions and talking with them, negotiating with them, trying to get a good deal. In the end, when the bill came out, it was just like, what the, this is not what we asked for. But basically, the first thing you need to ask about is when the last order is, so, last order wa nanji desu ka? So, basically, usually, if you're going for 2 hours, nomi hodai, which is all you can drink, then basically, your last order will usually be 90 分, so 90 minutes. And sometimes you can try and make them push that to 2 hours, and then you have half an hour drinking your drinks, but usually they won't do that for you. If it's a 3-hour thing you're going to, which sometimes happens, then it will probably be 2.5 hours, but just check. Usually it's 90 minutes, and that doesn't change. They don't do it an hour, that's usually fine, but it's just nice to check anyway. The next one is more important. Basically, it's when you do all you can drink. There's also all you can drink, all you can eat, which is easy. Because it's usually around 3,000 yen, which is what, 18 quid, same amount, 20 quid, and basically you eat and drink for 2 hours, hour and a half usually, and then you have 30 minutes to finish your food and drinks, and that's it. It's very easy. But if you do just the all you can drink, then basically you're going to have to order some dishes, okay? And that's just the way it goes. And dishes is called tanpin, okay, tanpin. And basically you want to find out how many you have to order per person, because what it is say they give you 1,000 yen for all you can drink, and then you go order 2 per person. That means you can work out my bill is 1,000 yen plus, and let's say the average thing is 400 yen, so it's going to be about 2 times 400, 800 plus 1,000 for the drinking, so 1,800 yen, that's how much I need, which is about £10, which is great for 2 hours all you can drink, and 2 pieces of food, and you're going to be sharing it all, so you're going to have lots of different various foods. Okay, but what we need to check is how many. So you can ask, sort of, tanpin do narimasu? Which is what's the plan with the dishes, and tanpin, what else can I say? Tanpin mo tanomu wa akan desu ka ne? Tanpin mo chumon shina akan desu ka ne? So if you say, yeah, and I have to order dishes, don't I? And then they will tell you, yes, 2 dishes per person, 3 dishes per person. And if they say, what they say to you is, the thing is, if they say to you 2 dishes, and then when it comes to it, they say, oh no, it's 3, when you're trying to get the bill, and they say, we still have to order 1 more each, and you can just say they said 2, and they will go okay, and they will back down, because if they said 2 and there's 6 of you there, they can't fight that. So check how many it is, and the thing is, you want to check how much the price of them is. So tanpin wa nanbo gurai desu ka? This is for if you're in Kansai, right? So tanpin wa ikura gurai desu ka as well if you're in Tokyo. So you want to ask tanpin wa nanbo gurai desu ka, or tanpin wa ikura gurai desu ka, which means, so how much is one of these dishes? And sometimes they will tell you it's 250 yen, but actually that is usually just edamame, like the beans, right? And you're not going to want to eat that. That's just like a little appetizer, okay? You want to know what it's like to have okonomiyaki, or some sushi, or some yakiniku, some kebab type things. You want to know what the real stuff is like. You don't want to be eating beans all night, yeah? So ask them even maybe ask if you can see the menu if they have one nearby, because I've been to places where they say, oh yeah, 300 yen average, you go inside, everything's bloody 800 yen, and it's small, right? And you walk out and you go, no mate, you sit down, look at the menu, and then decide. And me and my friends done that before, because they just lied to you. Once they told us there was a sofa inside, and we had just fucking normal chairs. How could you lie about a sofa? That's just, you're an idiot. So make sure you check about how many dishes you have to order. And the final one, which I think a lot of people get screwed over with, is basically ordering, making sure if you have beer in the deal that you're buying. So basically, this is the issue. If they say biru, if you say biru 入ってるんですか? So does that include beer? They can say, oh, biru 入ってます. So biru, right, is in the last video talking about nama biru. Biru in this sense, they kind of use in a very tricky way where it's like, yeah, biru is not nama biru. So nama biru is like normal beer, draft beer. So when they say beer, it's kind of used in a general sense, when actually what they're trying to tell you is happolshu. And I don't even know what happolshu is in English, but basically it's made from a different type of grain. It's very weak, and it's very light. Doesn't really it tastes like shit, let's just be honest. I don't really like it, and it's not the same as draft beer. And you can taste the difference. It doesn't taste good. If you're going to be drinking that for 2 hours, you don't want to drink that, to be honest. And I don't think it's as good for you health-wise. Not that beer is like fruit, which is good for you, but I mean this is not really that good. And you want to check that. So basically, you want to say, それは生付きですか? So, like I was saying before, nama biru, you can just say nama, and tsuki means, does it come with? Does that include nama biru? And if you say that, they can't say to you, hey, biru haittemasu. They have to, you're asking nama biru, is it nama biru? Is it draft beer, or are you selling me this shit stuff which isn't real beer? And then they say to you, それは入ってないんですね, probably. That's probably what they say. Like, we didn't have draft beer, we have beer which isn't really beer. But it's cheaper. So you want to check that, because I've been into places where actually once there was this woman who approached me and my friend, and it was just three of us, and you know, I actually said, I always round off to saying, when's the last order, how many dishes do I have to order, and does it have draft beer, or are you trying to screw me over? I always bang those 3 questions out, bam, 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 and it takes them off guard, especially because I'm a foreigner. And then this woman said, yep, we do have nama biru. She said, yes, it does include nama biru. We go inside, and I saw it, and the kanji was a mugi, which is I can't remember what it's called. It's the very classic happolshu, not real beer thing, which all places have, which is very cheap. And I said to him, これは生ビールじゃないんですよね? Like, this isn't draft beer, is it? And they were like, そうですね、ちょっと発泡酒って感じですよね. Like, it's like, it's not draft beer, it's that other type of stuff, isn't it, type thing. And like, we left. We just said, okay, we want to go, because, you know, you kind of sign up to these things when you get inside. But we were like, no, you know, she's lied to us, she told us that this was on the menu, it's not on the menu, we're leaving it. And they apologised profusely, but, you know, she was just trying to be a weasel and get us inside, because they probably get commission or something. So make sure you check last order, the dishes you have to order, and how much each dish is on average, otherwise you're going to be spending a lot. And if they have draft beer, I recommend going to chains if you're going to go just for a drink, because chains don't screw you around. There's so many of them, and people just go there, and because it's a chain, it's cheap. If you go to these little places, don't get many people, it's usually more expensive, and they try to fuck you over. Excuse my language. But yeah, they will try and mess you about, so be careful of that, and make sure you check it. Okay, end of. Enjoy drinking. Bye-bye.